It's a nice morning of November 11, 2000. 161 passengers boarded a funicular train, heading up for Alpine Center in Mount Kitzsteinhorn, a snow-covered mountain in Kaprun, Austria, well known for all year's winter sports. Many were winter enthusiasts, and some had traveled in funicular before. The Kaprun Funicular began its service in 1974. It's fast, comfortable, and have more capacity than the existing cable car. The funicular train had no engines nor fuel tank. They're simply connected by the cables, pulled up and down by a motor winch at the upper station. Thus, they don't need drivers, just a conductor monitoring the systems, and to open and close the doors. The Kaprun Funicular's rail was mostly stayed inside tunnel, and there's a section that allowed 2 trains to pass. Technically, the funicular was fireproof. So, there's nothing for them to worry. But what they didn't know is, today, we're going to be different. As soon as Kitzsteinhorn, a train they traveled on, left the station, something deadly is born inside an empty valley cab. Even though the funicular was technical fireproof, but there's one thing that's flammable. These hydraulic lines running underneath the funicular contained a flammable hydraulic fluid, and they're not 100% leak-proof. These hydraulic valves were installed in the same place as heater, and they continuously dripping onto a growing hot metal inside a heater. And when a heater turned on, it sucks and turns them into a flammable fog. Furthermore, a metal inside was now growing hot enough to ignite a fluid. As a result, a fire was born. The fire, fed by a flammable material inside, began to grow, adding more hydraulic fluid. It began to eat everything inside. A smoke had made its way into a cabin, the passengers curious at first. But as more smoke broke into a cabin, a panic erupts, and they started to banging on the doors and windows for at least getting some attention. One passenger trying to use a phone, but as soon as the train entered a tunnel, a signal was being cut off. Now, there are no way for them to stop a train or warn a conductor what's going on. The fire is now eaten through enough hydraulic lines for pressure to drop at 0, causing the brake to come on, and a train suddenly stop. The passengers thought a conductor realized what's going on and stop a train. In reality, he didn't. He was confused and doesn't know what caused it. It would take some time for him to notice a fire, because this train lacked every safety feature such as smoke detectors, intercom, emergency brakes, etc. Why they don't exist on the funicular? Because it never happened before. This train had operated flawlessly for 20 years, and they thought who need those things if we never had accident. So, that's why there are no such things installed on a train. Back to a train, as the doors remained sealed shut, some passengers used ski poles to try and break windows. The train windows were kinda shatterproof, so it took them amount of time to break it. As when they do, a fire had broke its way into a cabin, and some passengers were already succumbed due to heat and toxic smoke. Luckily, a few windows gave away, and they quickly climbed out. Among them is an experienced firefighter who managed to convince 11 other passengers to follow him downhill. They moving very slow due to heavy ski boots and narrow catwalks. Above them, there's a burning train. The cable could snap in any moment, sending a train down toward them. Fortunately, it never happened, and they managed to exit a tunnel of death. Exhausted and coughing, but alive. Back to a burning train, a conductor finally realized what's happened. His superior ordered him to open all doors and let people out. After this, the communication with a burning train is lost. The fire had managed to break out from a train and burning through the electrical wires inside a tunnel, plunging everything above a train into darkness. Failing to open the doors automatically, a conductor presumably left his cab and manually opened all doors. The passengers had finally free from a train, but still yet out of danger. They were in a tunnel, filling with toxic smoke and heat, and started going upward, away from fire. They not realize that, even the fire can't reach them, the smoke and heat will. It was a phenomenon called chimney effect. To give you a simple explanation, this tunnel is very steep, and it acting like a chimney. It sucks an oxygen from the bottom, pushing those heat and smoke upward. These killers soon finally caught up on them, and they got them into their bodies via breathing. When those killers get in, they steal Good Air's vehicles, the red blood cell, and travel throughout the entire breathing system. Their bodies need oxygen, but only thing they get is toxic air. Soon, those toxic began to eat them from inside. As a result, they collapsed down on the floor and never opened their eyes again. No one going uphill survived. The smoke kept going upward, taking out 2 lives inside a descending train, and continued going up into Alpine Center, where it took out other 3 lives, 2 tourists, and 1 staff. Although the emergency services had arrived on scene, they couldn't do anything. The thick smoke and heat had prevented them from going any further. It's not until around afternoon, when the smoke was cleared from a tunnel, 2 groups of firefighters were sent in. And when they approached a wreckage, they found dead bodies away uphill from one of the remains of a burning train. Besides 150 people from Kitzsteinhorn, 2 victims from a descending train was also been found, alongside with 3 victims from Alpine Center, bringing a total of 155 dead. The recovery of dead bodies and the investigation would soon follow. While examining both trains, they made a shocking discovery. Like Kitzsteinhorn, the Glacier Dragon was found to have the leaking hydraulic lines, the heaters that not designed for moving vehicles, and lacking in overheating protection, and a wooden casts that block a maintenance view of these lines. All of these, along with the lack of safety features, had turned these funicular twins into ticking time bombs. And it happened at very worst moment, 600 meters away from the entrance of a tunnel, going uphill. If both trains have those safety features, those people inside would have chance to survive from those toxic smoke and raging fire. In 2004, the 16 suspects, including company officials, technicians, and government inspectors, were cleared from any wrongdoing due to lack of evidence to find them responsible for a blaze. Anger the families of victims. While no one was ever found guilty, several laws and regulations were changed. Modern funiculars now include fire detection systems, illuminated tunnels, and better options to evaluate the train in an emergency. The thing that happened with Kaprun Funicular would unlikely to be happening again. After the disaster, the funicular service had not been reopened and permanently replaced with gondola lifts. Its track and stations remain abandoned until the year of 2014, when they were being removed and a tunnel was sealed shut. A memorial was built at a former site of Valley Station, dedicating to 155 lives who perished on that fateful day.